Varun Saboo, Head Equities, Anand Rathi, Shares and Stockbrokers, joining us. And Varun, hi, good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us on the show. First up, give us your sense on what you're making of the market today. Clearly, that uptick we had seen yesterday was very short-lived, and that joy has already been wiped off the street. But what are you making of the trading session for the next of the week and in the short term as well? Any chances of an up move from here, given that we have once again, seen a little bit of a consolidation today?
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Irina, for inviting me on your show. Honestly, I can only say that I see these corrections as an opportunity to buy. One thing is clear if you see that, I mean, you're seeing peak of negative noise being there. Iran, Israel, peak of noise is there. Still, you're not seeing crude react beyond a point. Also, our markets, for that matter. I think that any correction of this sort is just giving an opportunity to add into a country which is the fastest growing in the world. The consumption pattern, if you see, has not shifted at all. We are still seeing discretionary spends being at peak, auto sales going very strong. Across whatever parameters we see, the economy is doing very well. Fortunately, infra spends also picked up for the last 6 months, particularly the government spends which we saw. We have had the boost from RBI, which came in terms of a solid rate cut, and then we saw a very good CRR cut also, which helps to infuse a lot of liquidity into the system. So from all perspectives, India is looking like a solid place to invest into. I don't see any reason why we need to be worried over here. Any corrections, I would strongly suggest that one should be a buyer into these markets.
All right, that's the take on the India growth story. You are indeed bullish, Varun. But which sectors do you believe will participate the most, and which sectors do you believe have that valuation comfort?
See, one thing is clear that we are into a situation where consumption is going very strong. So your discretionary spend is where we are very bullish on. Secondly, we are very positive on any interest rate sensitive for that matter. We are clearly in a downward interest rate cycle. Despite everything, inflation is remaining under control. I don't see any reason why we have to be worried on any front. The key ideas which I like currently would be one trend, which is one of the best proxies to buy in terms of a strong spending pattern on the grassroots level. I think rural is also picking up materially. So tier two, tier three is the place where you have to be in. Going to be very positive on DMart as well, which has a solid asset base. The kind of stores that they have set up, the business model they have set up is brilliant. So that plays out to be very well as well. I have been speaking about escorts being one of our key ideas. It's yet to play as in the theme. But I think escorts is going to be the stock of the year in my view. So these are key three picks which I would really vouch for over here.
Bets that Varun is liking at this point in time. Very interesting names there. Varun beat Trent, DMart, and Escorts, which really hasn't participated much in the rally of late. But given the outlook for the tractor industry, and as the industry is factoring in above normal rainfall this particular time, so let's watch out how the sales number pan out. But taking a look at the markets is Asian Paints, which has indeed managed to be there throughout the day in the Nifty 50 top gainers. And Kunal, if I can quickly have a chart check on this one, we are all aware of the news flow surrounding how Reliance has been now exiting Asian Paints completely. Past 3 days, Asian Paints is been inching higher. Where do you see it headed?
So no major breakout trend for Asian Paints. In fact, the stock is still trading into a major band of consolidation, 2000, 2100 as a support for Asian Paints and 2400 broadly as a resistance for the stock price. The concern for Asian Paints on the charts is that the stock has been unable to lift off even closer to its 50-day moving average, forget about 200-day moving average. There was a point when the stock was trading about those averages, 50 DMA specifically in the recent past, but the stock did not find a major set of momentum, and then the momentum fizzled out and the stock came coming back into retesting of its previous support levels. The volumes are missing for the stock price to eventually form a bottom, and then we are seeing the kind of news flow surrounding the stock price. Compare this with the likes of Berger Paint. That's a chart which has done reasonably well. I think from 460, 450 mark, the stock has given almost like a 20% return in the last 3-6 months of this price recovery. So just purely on the charts, on a relative comparison basis also, I think Asian Paints is something which is not looking attractive, so it's a risk to avoid as of now.
avoid coming in on Asian Paints. But Shivangi, coming to you, taking the point forward about what Varun was talking about, he likes Trent, DMart, so clearly retail amongst the consumption space is what he is liking. Would you be placing your bets in the retail space as well in the overall consumption basket, or is there any other subsector from consumption that you're liking? And if retail, then what do you make of DMart and Trent on the charts?
Of course, retail space has been gaining a lot of momentum of late, and if we look at DMart, it has been floating above its key exponential moving averages as well recently. Now, of course, these are making a comeback, but the follow-up is slightly missing in these kind of stocks. So my focus would be shifted to IT stocks, which have been in focus from the last three trading sessions, and among that, we've seen that there is Coforge, which is showing consistent strength from the last nine continuous week. It's maintaining its upward sloping channel, and the volumes have also risen in the last 2 weeks, which have confirmed the up move. RSI is showing positive signs, and recently we've seen consistent long built up over here, which makes it quite remarkable. So of course, Coforge will be one on the radar. The next targets that we're looking at is around about 1900 immediately, and positionally 2000 marks for this one.
All right, so those are the top bets by Shivangi right now. But what the other stock that is doing well today, and Kunal is specifically wanted to have your take on AB Capital, because I guess the stock has finally made it to that breakout zone. So give us some sense there. How do you see this stock on the charts?
Yeah, I think fourth consecutive month of the price uptick for AB Capital, and the stock has recovered from 60 mark or 65 odd levels towards 255 plus where it's trading right now. I think it's been an excellent last 4 months for AB Capital. The stock has ticked off all the right boxes in terms of volume pickup, momentum, price breakout, consistency of price trend, higher highs, higher lows, 200 moving average breakout, etc. So all of those patterns have turned out to be very well observed for AB Capital, and that's why I think you're seeing that the price have been a lot more consistent on the upside. The trends have sustained for the stock. There was a phase where the financial services pocket was going through a sharp correction. Even in that phase, the stock maintained its trajectory above the 200 plus mark, and then once the pocket recovered post the RBI policy meeting, you saw the stock moving up from 200 to 20 range to then 240 to 50 very quickly. So that's the kind of a sign which you look out for, which changes its range in every market scenario, consolidates for a few odd weeks, and then gathers momentum pace back again to make a new high. So I would believe AB Capital is a stock which falls in that kind of a category. Would expect the stock to continue to perform much stronger going forward over the medium to long term.
Okay, so that's the take on AB Capital. But Varun, also want to draw your attention to the entire real estate space. It's been the top gainer for quite some time, and now it's going through a little bit of a consolidation as a whole pack. What are you making of some of these realty stocks? Today we have news flow on Godrej Properties, wherein they've acquired 16-acre land parcel in Pune that they are going to be developing into a residential property with a revenue potential of 3,100 crore rupees. Remember, yesterday too we had a news flow on Godrej Properties, a positive news flow at that. So Varun, what are you making of Nifty Realty, and how is this sector looking right now?
See, breather is very good for any sector, right? We have seen a very, very sharp run up in real estate in the last month or so. I think it's just a breather that they're taking. As I mentioned, I'm very, very positive on the on anything which is rate sensitive from here. And considering how the inflation is spanning out to be, I don't see things turning around that soon. So this cyclical turnaround will take time. So we are at the beginning of a cycle. I think real estate is one of the best plays when all asset classes are doing well. There's a very unique time when we're seeing gold rallying, we're seeing equities rallying. Now we're seeing crude also rallying. So most of the asset classes are moving up. So wealth creation generally gets parked into real estate, what we've seen in the past as well. Coupled with a very strong interest rate downward cycle, this just adds on to the thesis. So I don't see any reason why this should stop. The name which probably I would prefer in this space would be DLF more than any other name, considering the fact that it has an annuity portfolio also. In case if there's any shift in the way we are seeing the way the trend has been, DLF provides you that comfort, and valuations are also quite attractive there.
Right, so that's about the real estate sector as a whole, and DLF remains the top bet. But just a few minutes left before we shut shop. So let's also get you some of the BTST or STBT ideas from our experts then. And Kunal, you go first. Tell us which is the stock that you are eyeing right now.
So Torrent Pharma is something which could start to look attractive. The stock I would believe is was showing signs of a breakout or heading towards an intraday breakout. So would look out for 3,300 as a target. Stop loss could be now revised to 3,200. ICICI Pru is the other stock. We've seen insurance stocks making a good comeback. ICICI Pru is also heading towards an intraday breakout. So would look out for 660 as a target. Stop loss at 630.
Okay, so some of the stocks that Kunal is liking at the moment. Shivangi, any recommendations you would like to make for a very short-term trade? Let's say buy today, sell tomorrow.
On my radar is IT stocks. So TechM has to be one of them, which has witnessed a good amount of buying in the last 1 hour, which gives it a good candidate for buy today and sell tomorrow. But of course, positionally also this is very well placed. But the recent price movements that we've seen is quite well placed for it. We've seen that the PCR of this stock has improved significantly, which makes it quite comfortable for the bulls as well. So immediately for tomorrow we're seeing 1750 as the next targets for this one, but positionally it is getting ready for 1800 levels with a stop of 1685.
All right, so that's about Tech Mahindra that Shivangi is liking at this point in time. But yes, Nifty 50 is down almost 80 odd points. We have been trading in quite a range for throughout the day and majority part of the day rather, while Nifty Bank is also down more than 250 points as we speak right now. Some metal counters haven't been doing that well. Stocks like Hindustan Zinc, Copper, they have been down 3 to 7% in today's trading session. Add to that list in some of the other counters like Vedanta along with that. And what's doing well today is definitely select IT counters, select shipping counters and defense counters, and of course the city gas distribution companies continue to do well. But Varun, the other sector that has been doing very well of late is the insurance sector. Yes, everybody does talk about the kind of opportunities these companies have, the lower penetration in the Indian markets when it comes to insurance. What is your take on the insurance stocks? Because of late they have been buzzing. Any renewed investor interest or anything new that you are picking up?
Yeah, so in my view, insurance has been seeing a lot of emphasis from the government side also. And as you mentioned, there's a lot of under-penetration here. So that's the reason why you're seeing some interest in the insurance names. And yeah, there are some investors which we keep talking to are also getting positive on the names. And I think there could be a structural rally which we would see in the insurance names from here.
Okay, so that's the take on some of the insurance counters. Kunal, we're just understanding that silver is trying to approach a fresh all-time high for itself right now on the MCX. You were bullish on silver, if I'm not wrong. Would you still prefer it over gold?
Yeah, so I think it depends. I mean, if you've managed to ride the entire rally for gold prices, then I think maybe right now silver is something which starts to look a lot more attractive. We were discussing this, I think some time back, that the gold-silver ratio, I think, is also something which starts to now get more in favor or tilt towards silver prices, starting to show that signs of outperformance. So maybe if you ask me in terms of an edge, right now, yes, silver prices do have an edge in terms of a potential outperformance. We've seen the silver prices breaking past above a major resistance on dollar terms. There was a huge hurdle around the 30-32 mark, for the dollar prices. Those levels have been crossed, and that's why I think you're now seeing the silver prices going to a strong momentum zone on the upside. So maintaining that buy stance on silver. Not sure if the asset class would outperform gold prices, but then it all depends what one's time frame as well as risk appetite is.
So that's on some of these precious metals that are on Kunal's radar. But Varun, give us a sense of the kind of central bank action we're expecting for the rest of the week. Today we've had action coming in from Japan, wherein they've left their rates unchanged, but there is some correction on bonds that they are going to be undertaking. We have FOMC outcome tomorrow. It's going to be late at night for us. But still on that front, what are you expecting? The street is largely penciling in rates to be unchanged, but there is ever increasing pressure coming coming in from Donald Trump on the Fed. Do you believe that could pan out into anything material, or a hold is what we can see?
I think that's the problem that Fed is dealing with, right? They are very clear they don't want to cut rates. That's been a statement which has been there, and the push, even the more push from Donald Trump has been keeping them rigid on their stance, and I have not seen them really changing their stance just because of the pressure, and they've been there for a while now. I don't see a reason why they will really shift their focus just because of the pressure from Donald Trump. Uh, but I think inflation has come under control on their side as well. If one logically has to think, there could be a possibility of a slight cut there as well. But that's an outside chance that we're talking about.
All right. So yes, all eyes on the FOMC meet outcome, and whether or not how does the commentary pans out, that will be the key to watch out for. For now, the market is penciling in no change in the rate for Fed. But yes, the pharma counters haven't been doing that well. We have discussed that in detail already. But Kunal, specifically, one of the counters that is making to one of being the biggest drag in the FNO side is Aurobindo Pharma. If you can give us some sense, how do you see the stock? Because for Aurobindo Pharma, US market is one of the key contributors.
Yeah, and I think with the kind of news flow surrounding, we've seen that the stock has given a fresh breakdown. I was just mentioning this earlier that Aurobindo Pharma has broken a critical support around the 1140 levels. This is almost like a 2-month, 3-month key support point for Aurobindo Pharma, completing a bearish pattern or a negative pattern as such on the short-term charts, and this could probably have implications of at least another 40 to 50 points on the downside for Aurobindo Pharma. That's why I would believe that even after today's sharp price correction and high volume sell-off, there could be more legs on the downside for the stock.
Okay, so that's a take on Aurobindo Pharma. Well, last 5 minutes or so left of trade. Before we hand it over to Ashesha for the closing, Shivangi, any view on what the market action could be tomorrow, given the run-up we've seen yesterday, absolute consolidation that we've seen today? What does tomorrow's market flavor hold for us?
We've seen a very lackluster move in the second half, especially today's session. But there has to be some unwinding on the upside, some call writers which need unwinding for the next leg of rally to commence. So this will be on the cards. Overall, there is trend because support-based buying has been quite strong, and the other factors have also been giving in and adding to the market sentiment. So overall, buy and decline to continue here for the upside. We're expecting 25,050, 25,250 odd levels, and with a support of 24,700 zones.
All right, so Kunal, similar view by you as well, buy on dips for the index?
Yeah, buy on dips for the index, but I think tomorrow, if we manage to just about retest that 24,700 mark, that could be a much more better level for traders to initiate a contra buy.
So that's the take coming in. And Varun, is there any market trigger back home or overseas that could change the kind of trade that we're expecting tomorrow? Perhaps some positive news from the Middle East at all? What is that one trigger that could influence the market going ahead?
Absolutely. You just mentioned what could be the possible trigger. If there is any de-escalation, which is quite a possibility, that there could be some change in stance there. The maximum negative is there in the price, what we are seeing markets factoring in. I think a very, very very interesting bet over here could be the OMCs. If someone really wants to play something which could have material triggers in the very near term, it's the OMCs. Today is the time to buy HPCL and BPCL when they are being written off completely from the fact that people are really worried about crude, how it's going to shoot up. One has to keep in mind these tensions are at peak. Still, crude has sustained sub $80. That really talks about it. So that's the opportunity one has, and one should buy these names. And they are very cheap in terms of valuation. So it's not that you're entering names which are very expensive and they would correct materially. So there's a time to add these names, and please play for a pivot there.
All right, so with this, we let you go on that. Thank you so much, Varun, Shivangi, as well as Kunal, for taking the time out and speaking with us.